Alright, so this knife thoughts video is going to be on this knife. And as you can see, this is the Great Eastern Cutlery made Tidioute Cutlery number 19 Little Rattler in red coral canvas micarta. And as you may have noticed, I'm not doing this video where I normally do my videos. I'm doing it outside, so there might be some outside type noises, but I hope it'll work out well. It's probably going to be one of the last nice days of the year, and I thought, why not? So let's take a look at the knife. As always, it comes in the tube, and it is coming with a pin. You can see the snake on there. And the first thing I noticed is that this is a very small, very light, very thin knife. I knew that this was a small knife, of course, from the dimensions, 2.8 inches closed. But it's really small. It's shockingly small. And I think part of that is because it is really thin. But first of all, what is this knife? So this is a single bladed jack with a Wharncliffe main blade, an only blade. It's a serpentine jack. And as you can see, the larger end is the pivot end, and the smaller end is where the blade sits, or the tip sits. So it's similar in its shape, in the pattern shape, to the Great Eastern Cutlery 38, as well as the case, what do they call it, the Seahorse Whittler, and other patterns like that. This one, like I said, is in red coral canvas micarta. It's a nice looking handle material. I like it. It's a nice deep maroon. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it here in the outside lighting. It's a little bit cloudy, but it's pretty dark, almost blood red, and pretty much the same on both sides here. Not super traction-y like the micarta was on the recent 35 run, more like GEC's typical micarta. It has bolsters on both ends and a shield. You can see the shield here. They're using this shield a lot recently, and the shield and bolsters are brushed. So as you can see, it also has half stops, and it has this kind of stout little Wharncliffe. It's kind of a, not really stubby, it's not to that point, but it's not a slender Wharncliffe. And I actually really like this etching. You can see the little Rattler etching on there. Just kind of cool. I like the font and the snake and everything. As for the construction of this knife, it seems pretty good. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it here, but the shield fitting, there are a little bit of voids. There's a very small void right there, and then another one right there near the tip. But other than that, it's fit relatively well. Pretty typical, I'd say, for GEC. The covers are fit really well. There's really no gaps or transitions there between the covers and the liners, or the covers and the bolsters, so it's good on that. Pins are good, typical for GEC. The spring pin is flush, and the cover pins are sunken. It has nice action. Actually, I'm pretty happy with the action. It's not an overly strong pull. It's like a 4 probably, but nice and snappy. Centered well, and I was concerned at first that the tip was a little bit proud, but it's not at all. You can't catch a finger on it at all, so I'm happy with that. No blade play. Like I've said in videos recently, I really never have GECs come with blade play, and no blade wrap that I can tell. So cool little pattern. And one thing I wanted to mention with this, it is very small, but GEC has done a good number of small knives in the past. So here is the number 06 Pemberton. I've got a video and article on this knife. Little Coke bottle pattern. As you can see, it's pretty similar in size, and they recently did a Wharncliffe, single blade Wharncliffe on that also. You have the number 18 Beagle, which is not exactly, but close to the reverse of this number 19. I don't think, from what I've read, that it is just the same pattern reversed, but it's pretty similar. So kind of like a dogleg serpentine type jack. Then you have the 22, which is actually the smallest knife pattern that GEC has made, gunstock jack. And then recently, that probably more people are familiar with, is the 33. It's a little bit longer, but still really slender and a pretty small knife. So GEC has made other knives in this size, but it still is small. A good comparison here is to the Case Pocket Hunter, which is the 2020 Vault knife. Really similar in length. The Pocket Hunter is a good bit thicker because it's a 2-blade, although they do make a single blade of this. I just don't have it. And then compared to a GEC number 15 pattern, you can see that the little Rattler is quite a bit smaller, shorter, and even thinner, even though this is also a single blade. And then compared to a Case Trapper, much smaller. So it is a small knife, but GEC has done other small knives before. Another thing I wanted to mention with this is that it seems like these will be a little bit easier to get than the 35s or 74s that have recently come out from GEC. Now, whether that's because it is a Wharncliffe blade, probably not, I would say, or if it's more so because it's such a small pattern. I think it's really that. It's also a little bit of a strange pattern. I don't think people are as used to this type of pattern where it's smaller at the tip end. But whatever it is, I don't think that it's a larger run. I've heard from dealers that it's actually a small run. But either way, it does seem like they might be a little bit easier to get. They're making several different handle materials, a smooth white bone, a Kingwood, a snakeskin acrylic, which is really cool. I'm hoping to try to get, but several different versions. So keep your eyes out. Check out my video recently that I made on how to buy GECs. You can find it in my videos, and also hit the bell for notifications so you post when you see when I post new videos. If you enjoy videos like this, subscribe to my channel. Feel free to comment. I do read the comments. I don't always reply, but I at least read them. And check out my social media, Knife Thoughts, all at Knife Thoughts, and my website, knifethoughts.com. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.